Rajit Sinha, I'm again going to combine two questions. Rajit Sinha says, when so many challenges are there before society, how can we upscale efforts towards happiness? And a related question was, should the wider economic system count happiness, somewhat like Bhutan does with gross national happiness?
I think fight, struggle to injustice is itself practice of dharma. Injustice is against religion. Injustice ultimately is related with well-being of other. Justice, yes. So you see, fight because of the injustice. Itself is practice of dharma. Very good. Instead, you see the motivation, more compassionate, more sense of caring of other. Not salary or some so what is it? if you give me such amount of money, I will fight for you. That's wrong.
Tell them.
If lawyer or judge themselves corrupted, then very difficult. And also similarly, sometimes you see some spiritual leaders, some lamas, also a little bit corrupted. That is really very serious matter. One in Haryana, one lama, one guru, now in prison, isn't it? So they suppose to see person who teach other people the moral or good thing. They themselves, you see, corrupted. Then, like medicine, become poison, like that. Very unfortunate. So, investigation is key factor, not faith. I think Nalanda tradition, one great thing is, according to Nalanda tradition, some of those masters examine Buddha's own word. A certain word, say, found some contradiction. Then they reject it. Even Buddha's own word. You cannot accept this Buddha's teaching literally because it goes against reason. Like Nagarjuna rejected some Buddha's own teaching. And Chandrakirti as well. That's really greatness. Even Buddha's own word, we examine. Buddha taught, certainly, Buddha, some occasion, his audience, different mental disposition. So he taught accordingly. So that we cannot accept literally. But literally, like that. So the Nalanda tradition, everything examine, investigate. And to lawyer also we have to investigate.
Yes. That I'll investigate.
Then also we have to investigate so-called those lamas or teachers. We have to investigate. Should not follow blind faith. Blind faith is very dangerous. Next question.
Right, a question from Pooja. Advice on raising a teenager. What as parents should we not do when bringing up children?
Any action which create uncomfortable other people, then generally speaking, that should avoid. I think the teenage young children, I think we can easily ask, do you need friend or enemy? So everybody want a friend. So friend, the very basis of friend is a smile and a sincere attitude. That brings trust. Trust brings smile. We have to make distinction. Smile, genuine smile, that brings happiness. Another sort of smile, diplomatic smile, and sarcastic smile. So these smile, all those showing teeth, but that smile is instead of feeling happiness or trust, some more suspicion. Some of the Chinese officials, they are expert artificial smile. I also learned since 51 till 59, I remain with communist officials. So I also learned artificial smile. So like that, the children, automatically they love smile. Some occasion I ask when I talk with a student, I ask them, do you prefer smile or angry face? Everybody say smile. True, even animal. Some dogs, you see, when you show you genuine affection, then their eyes some different, isn't it? Then there is because a tail like that. If while you giving some food, your eye showing something little negative, then the dog, their tail eventually go down like that. So animal also, you see, appreciate, distinction, genuine smile, genuine affection, and just a feeding. They make distinction. So, like that, smile, affection is the key factor for happy individual, happy family, happy community, and finally, happy world should create it that way. I think in this respect, I think India can make certain sort of kasota contribution. Firstly, India's ahimsa, concept of ahimsa, I think should increase that, share with other people, other nations. Ahimsa with karuna. This, I think, India's century-old message, I think now should be, you see, message for entire humanity, in entire world. Yes, next.
Right. Bad relations with neighbors can have an impact on happiness. What do you think India can do to improve relations with China, and how can that, where do you see there's the future of that relationship?
Because a neighbor way. True. I think if you, one my friend, I think in Australia, you see, one day, you see his car, some smashed away, scratch or something. Then, you see, he feel uncomfortable. But then he deliberately visited his neighbor and expressed sorry. Then that moment, there's some negative feeling completely disappear. So then, I think I always emphasize the international level, global level. Unfortunately, many problems, including killing, actually human beings' creation. Global warming, that's beyond our control. But then, too many sort of killing and discrimination, all these due to secondary level of differences, different nationality, different religious faith. So, a lot of human suffering is actually our own creation. Yet we, human being, more compassionate nature. Everybody want happy life. Yet a lot of problems we created. So this sort of creation of suffering is we too much emphasis differences, nationality and faith. So the countermeasure for that, we have to go deeper level. We are same human being. Sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. Then different nationality is secondary. Different religious faith is secondary. So with too much emphasis, the secondary level of differences, that causing division and causing violence. So in India also, the caste system, this I think one of the backward tradition that must change. They are also human beings. You see, go deeper level of oneness of human being, oneness of Indian. Although I think India, East India, South India, West India, North India, Central India, different culture, different language, different script, but all happily remain one union. Wonderful. Wonderful. So therefore, we are not seeking independence from China. Since 1974, we decided eventually we have to talk with Chinese government. So we are not seeking independence. And we are very much sort of willing remain within the People's Republic of China, provided they should implement thoroughly Chinese constitution, certain rights mentioned in Chinese constitution. And also, you see, Chinese constitution recognize different places and different provinces, actually Tibetan autonomy, Tibetan autonomous district, autonomous prefecture, autonomous region like that. So constitution recognized as a Tibetan area. Then all these areas should have same right to preserve our own language, our own culture. Then politically, we are very much want to remain within the People's Republic of China. So sometimes I jokingly telling some Chinese friend when we met, almost whole world who are supporting Tibet issue knows we are not seeking independence. But some Chinese media still consider me splittist. So it seems they want me to pursue independent movement. I tell you, sometimes I jokingly tell them, we are not seeking independence. I always admire, firstly, Indian Union. Wonderful. Then European Union. Oh, really? Wonderful. During First World War, Second World War, French, German, arch enemy. But after Second World War, they create European Union. Mainly Adenauer of Germany and de Gaulle from France. You see, they create the European Union. I'm quite sure. Since the European Union developed, then last few decades peaceful. If that union not developed, then last few decades, I think some killing among these different nations. So I really admire. Then British, any Englishman here? God. Oh. So you are leaving European Union. I have some reservation, but of course this is not my business. Now more and more complaint among the British now, isn't it? regarding Rusik Kasa. Ka. Oh. So now time come together. I often, you see, expressing spirit of European Union now should bring an Latin America union. Then at least Northern Africa, some kind of union. Then Eastern Africa, or led by South Africa, then some kind of union. Then eventually whole Africa, some union. Then no military forces, expenditure of military can reduce. In Latin America, once the Costa Rica, they demilitarized, only sort of police, otherwise no military forces. So now these things are, I think, wonderful in order to create a peaceful world, peaceful continent. Firstly, demilitarize. There are two levels. External disarmament. For sincerely external disarmament, firstly, you should create inner disarmament, more compassionate, on the basis of sense of oneness of human community. It is possible. True. I think, generally speaking, I think now today's world, I think desire for peace is much increased. Look, during Iraq war, because about to happen, so many millions of people against violence, against war. Then, also you see, First World War, Second World War, I think every citizen of the concerned nation declared war, and everybody proudly joined war effort. During Vietnam War, then gradually against anti-war movement gradually started. Then European Union also one example. So world changing, humanity, at least in the European continent, European people, more experience, too many violence, then they become more mature. I often used to ask some German people, some German, as well as some Japanese, do you have some kind of ill feeling, feeling with some kind of revenge towards America, particularly Japan, two nuclear bombs used. So many of them, when I ask, they say, nothing, no sort of ill feeling. That's good. That's good. They have to live side by side. Past is past. Like family, occasionally quarrel, but basically, as a one family, live together. Okay, next question.
Right, I'm conscious that we are in fact out of time. So we could carry on for hours, but we are out of time. So I'm just going to try and compress, Your Holiness, 2-3 questions into one. They're somewhat related. What does a person suffering from grief or ill health or the loss of a parent, how does such a person find inner peace or happiness if you are going through grief?
Usually, say, some individual who expressed to me that, I usually say telling them, firstly, one Buddhist text, I think 8th century, one Nalendra master, he expressed, if the tragic situation face, you should analyze that tragic situation can overcome through effort or not. If it is through sort of investigation, if that tragic situation can overcome, then no need to worry. if that tragic situation no possible to overcome, then no use too much worry. Like you say, like we are getting older and older. You see, sometimes I feel some young people go like that, feel, now I cannot I cannot do like that. But then, you see, too much worry, no use. You are getting older and older, nothing. This is one thing, I think, realistic advice or expression. Now, some your dear friend, including parent, passed away. No use too much worry. But instead of worry, one example, when my teacher, senior teacher, when he passed away, I feel very sad because since childhood, he really takes care of me. A great scholar and a practitioner. So during his, because of the alive, right? During his there, I always feel something like solid rock. I can lean. When he passed away, and I really feel now no longer that rock, then I'm thinking, instead of worry, sad, I translate that sad situation, translate into increase willpower. Now, I must fulfill my late teacher's wish. I have to, determined to carry his wish. So similarly, when mother or parent or some dear friend passed away, then you should feel, now that person already gone, nothing can be done. Now I must fulfill their wish with enthusiasm, with determination. That I usually telling people. Okay.
Your Holiness, I think we are out of time. Nimit Iqbal has a question, but I think we are out of time now, so we're going to have to end it here. Thank you all so much, and it was such a privilege and a pleasure to hear you, as always, Your Holiness.
Thank you.